I kept Grandpa Gohan around for one main reason other than I actually care about that character, so I kept Grandpa Gohan around and I made him young again and immortal so he could give me a proper education until the 12th grade, and I used my magical powers to make myself and Grandpa Gohan rich while I was very too young, so we didn't live like feral animals anymore and Grandpa Gohan lived a good life, and I went to the best colleges in our world and received many degrees and certifications and doctorates. In all my years in college I learned everything important that a man needs to learn in life. I even know how to be a very responsible adult with all my wives and children, and I made sure I was always in their lives. That's why I became immortal, because I didn't want to die, so I stayed alive for my family and my children, and I spent plenty of time with all my children and wives like a good husband and father should, unlike the original Goku, who obviously was very inconsiderate of his family. Nope, unlike him, I actually cared about my family and my children so much so that even when I couldn't be there for my family all the time, my magical clones were still always there, and they are me in every way that counts and matters. So yeah, I got all that covered over my many years of living and loving, and I was always a very useful person and husband with my wives and my children, because I know everything that a man needs to know to help his family achieve greatness. So all of my children are very educated and smart, they even have genius level intelligence, so I didn't worry about my children too much. Not even Zeno could erase my Earth or planet Vegeta had he didn't want to either, and so I was always safe. And Grand Zeno even said that he doesn't want me to be in the tournament. He begged me to reconsider, but I said no, we should all be treated equally, so I made sure that I would be in the tournament of power along with all the others. So I went back in my pocket dimension to make love to all my wives until I would fight against someone else in another tournament again, and right now the moans of Vados could be heard as me and my magical clone gave her double penetration, and she went cross-eyed and she moaned and screamed loudly with pleasure, and so did my other wives because of my new sex god powers. Thanks to Bulma, I didn't want to stop having sex with my wives, and I never got sore or tired anyway because of my sex god powers, so naturally I was now a literal sex machine god thanks to my beautiful nympho wife Bulma Brief, who always loved taking my member in all three of her holes at same time during our private sex sessions, and because of my sex god powers they would often even love it when I got them pregnant. They even begged for it more than once, especially Frieza, who always loved me even before I had my sex god powers. And then I thought about Kale and Caulifla. I thought, why not marry those two beautiful young Saiyan women, because I'm curious about Saiyan women if it's really as good as Raditz said it is. So I decided to make love to those two women after I made them fall in love with me, because I'm a charming handsome guy and my wives have no problem living with other women, especially Bulma. So I decided I'm going to Universe 6 to meet Kale and Caulifla really soon, and so I made the plans and I trained with Frieza and Vados gently, and I couldn't resist to make love to them again, so I did, and naturally they followed me to Universe 6 when I went there, and Vados told me everything about Kale and Caulifla, and I said they will fit right into my family because I'm not entirely a good person either. I'm a little naughty myself, just in a different, more powerful way, and I'm smarter, far smarter. So when I met Kale and Caulifla, I made them an offer they couldn't refuse. I bribed them at first to get what I wanted, and when they started training with me, that's when I started making my moves on Caulifla, and then that's when Kale got extremely jealous, and even in my base form she couldn't touch me in her legendary Super Saiyan form, and then that's when I transformed into my terrifying Berserker Rage legendary Super Saiyan 4 form, and I said, you're a powerful Saiyan like me, and she tried to hurt me, and I stood there and took all of her blows as if they were nothing against me, and I smiled like a madman in my terrifying visage. They both got a little scared, and then I said to Kale, calm down, I'm not going to kill the both of you because I have full control over my Berserker form, unlike you Kale, and you can continue to hit me all you want, but you will never be able to hurt me. And then Kale smirked and said, you are like me in her legendary Super Saiyan form, and I said, yes ma'am Kale, I am like you in all the ways that matter, but unlike you I can better control myself, and you can learn how to do the same thing I'm doing now with enough time and training, but I'm the most powerful Saiyan in existence, no one can beat me, even the Saiyans from my planet.